So we started this garden a few months ago, and it really hasn't, we haven't really made a lot of progress on it. We've just been doing other stuff. But I need to get this going because we're running towards the end of the season, or the planting season, and at some point it's going to be too late because it's going to get too hot here. Arguably that time has already passed, but I think we can still get some stuff in the planters if we can get them filled within the next week, really. Ugh. All right. These are pretty easy to put together. They just come covered in plastic, which is kind of frustrating. We aren't much of green thumbs. We really want to be, but we're kind of not. And I think that problem is really about our inability to water regularly. And so one of the things that I try to do is that when I plant something new, I try to have a plan for irrigation. And if I can get it to be automated, that would be ideal. But it's really difficult to do, especially when there's not a lot of water on site or nearby the beds. Each one of these beds is going to have their own irrigation zone. And it's hard to find something with like an 8-zone, irrigation setup. And if you do, they're really expensive. This garden is going to be a bit of a kitchen garden. So we'll put the stuff that we use pretty regularly in it, and it's really close to our front door. And the idea is that having it be so close to where we walk by every day, it will encourage us to stay on top of it. These are both done, so I can cross that off my list. I'm going to put them in the garden just temporarily, and then I'm going to start filling up the other beds with wood. Being the true, I don't even know what you want to call it, like basically my wife and I don't like buying stuff, and so we try to use what we have and make do with what's already around. But this is one of those things where I really wish we had a wagon to pull behind our garden tractor, because I kind of have something rigged up on this old gorilla cart, and it is it's broken. Let's go hook this up. I should be able to get this done over lunch, which would be awesome. They make wagons that hook up to these hitches, and they're not terribly expensive, I think, given the utility of them, but I've been doing this for about a year. It works well enough. The most annoying part is the assembly and also the capacity. There's just not a lot of capacity in this gorilla cart, which is really meant for small yards, not meant for hauling a bunch of lumber. But I made this little jig to hook it up to the handle. In my infinite wisdom, I ran over the wagon when I was trying to back it up, which it does not back up well because the front swivels on the wagon, and I broke it. And that is what you get when you try to cobble everything together. We are in the absolute depths of tick season here, so I'm a bit nervous about doing this. The wood is over there. You can see I have to go across that incredible tick habitat, which I'm not looking forward to, but I really don't want to. It's about all I can put in there, so I'm going to take it up. I think I need maybe 3. I probably really like 2.5, but I'm going to go grab another one and then basically do it again. Alright, so I think I'm done here. It's time to go back inside and work. Lunch is basically over. I have enough wood in here, I think, to make a meaningful dent in the amount of soil we need to put in here. The rest of the wood is not great. It kind of just crumbles, so I'm not going to use it because it's just kind of a pain to get. We still have this 4 small beds that we'll use. I think we have enough wood for those. If not, it's not a huge deal because there's not a lot of volume. So we just picked up about 30 bags of soil, which should be enough for 2 of the big beds and maybe 1 of the small ones. So now that we have the wood in place, we can just go ahead and start filling it up. Today my plan is to try to run the irrigation stubs for the 4 smaller beds, or at least the 3 smaller beds. I think I only have enough for 3. And then maybe start mapping out how I am going to run this main line so that I can hook all of these beds up to the water faucet over by the house. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie 4 beds together. I'm going to tie these 2 longer beds with these 2 shorter beds and run the lines for these shorter beds up the middle of these longer beds and connect them all in the same valve box. And then I'm going to do the same for this short bed here, these 2 long beds, and then that small bed back there. So that should be 2 valve boxes where they all kind of join together, and it reduces the number of valve boxes I need to buy because they're quite expensive, and also just the clutter on the ground. So I think that's going to be my plan. Before I do that, I need to install the risers for these circle beds, these small circle beds, and then also put out a whip so that I can make sure that I have enough pipe to get me to back there, or at least get me to some point where they join up. So that is the plan today. I at least want to install the risers in all of these small circle beds and the whips as well. Alright, so this is what we have here. We have the riser. I think this is a 2-foot riser. It's going to go down into here, and then it connects to this this elbow here, and then the actual pipe, the water pipe, the plastic pipe, will connect to this barbed end. So it just is pretty simple. It just screws on like this. I'll put some pipe tape around it, and then the actual hose or the water line is attached with some clamps. So here's this pipe I'm using. It is just like a black poly pipe, and like I said, the barb just goes in that pipe, and then I have 2 clamps that I'll clamp around it. So I'm finished up with 3 of the beds. I don't have enough material to do the 4th, so I'll need to go to Lowe's and pick that up. Here's what I got. You can see I have a couple of those whips sticking out over there, and then I have a whip sticking out right here, and these will run kind of parallel to these main beds, or these big beds, and then attached to the main line that will run perpendicular to those big beds. That's going to be it for me today. I might do something a bit in the afternoon, but otherwise I think that's going to be it. So yesterday I finished stubbing out the small circle beds with their risers and that whip. Today I'm going to do the layout to connect each of the beds to the main trunk line. I have the garden boxes, the valve boxes that the valves will go in, and yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. I don't know the best way to do this. I can either dig the trench and then lay the lines in it, or connect the lines and then dig the trench. I haven't quite determined what I'm going to do yet. I don't know if there's an order of operations, but I'm going to just kind of wing it. Alright, so I think I'm done for the day. I'm running out of time. I'm not going to be able to finish this. The valve box, I think, is going to fit. I did a pretty poor job of trimming my pipe, so I think it's going to have to be redone. I need to spend more time looking at the details of the valve box and how it's going to lay out inside of it, because the pipes are kind of a crisscrossed mess, and it's not going to work out the way that it is. I'm going to try to finish this valve box completely before I even move on to trenching the other side, because I would like to take some of the lessons learned on these 4 beds and apply them to those 4 beds. I don't have time to do it today. I'm hoping I can get that done tomorrow. I only really have 2 more days where I can make any meaningful progress. So I hope I can get at least a valve box done. It'd be great if I can get 2 valve boxes done. It would be incredible if I can get the main line ran. But the trenching is taking longer than I anticipated, and I've never done this before, so it's kind of a learning experience for me. Alright, it's the next day. It's a little late in the day. I'm back with this valve box. I'm hoping to get it done today. I only have about an hour, maybe a little bit more, and so we'll see how far I get here. This is done. I did it clamp everything in yet, just because I want the opportunity to make changes. The lines I did not run deep enough. The box will weigh them down, which is not super ideal, but I'll put the box on some pavers or some bricks to elevate it, and so it won't be the full weight of the box on the line, so if somebody steps on it, the lines won't get crushed. It's just that the tension of the lines will press up on the box, which I think is fine, because it won't be that much weight. There's not a lot of like tension there. So I think what I found is that it's easier to dig the valve box out first and then trench, just so you can ensure that the trench is deep enough and your water lines will easily pass underneath the valve box. So I may just call it for today. I didn't have a whole lot of time today. Ended up taking today off of work because I had to drive 2 hours to meet with somebody and then 2 hours back. So I basically just took the whole day. Tomorrow is actually my daughter's preschool graduation. And so we have a ceremony and a picnic for her, and then she has an early out. So I'll have a few hours in the morning, but that's really it. So I don't know how far I'll get. Hopefully further than I'm anticipating, but we'll find out. After we picked the kids up yesterday, the weather cooled off quite a bit, so I finished digging out the trenches for the garden. I didn't film it for two reasons, mostly because my kids were helping me, and I'm not comfortable sharing them on camera. And also, this video has been a lot of dirt digging, and I figured I'd give you guys a break. But the garden portion of it's done. The only trench that remains is the trench that runs from the garden to the spigot, and I'm going to wait to do that until I can replace the grass pretty quickly after, so it doesn't die. This morning is a bit rainy. It rained a bit last night. I think there's more forecasted for this morning. The garden's muddy, and so I don't know how much work I'm going to be able to get done. I only have a little bit here before I have other obligations, so we'll see if I'll get anything done. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. It's not a big deal either way.